Hey everybody, hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is humbling. Humbling. Now, it's very difficult to look through Isaiah and not see that every nation on earth will be humbled before God. Israel included. I mean, every single knee we know will bow, not just on earth, but those in heaven, right? And those even below the earth. We know that one day every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So, in the time of Isaiah, as many people, especially within the nation of Israel and the divided kingdom and Judah, as they're all trying to go ahead and find refuge, find rescue, an alliance from anybody and everybody. There was plenty of times they had done that. And even you find the nations that had gone out against them were trying to find some help as well. So even today, as we've been going through these oracles, these words from God about the judgment that was coming to all of the nations. Today we see the Cushites, or those from Ethiopia, as some translations will say. And he's saying, look, these people that were looking for help in all the wrong places, judgment's going to fall on them as well. It is something to be noted as well that all the nations that he mentions, he covers north, south, east, and west. He's saying, doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter which direction you go, God will humble you. God will humble you. And today, if we look just at the last verse of Isaiah chapter 18, verse 7, it says, in that time a present will be brought to the Lord of hosts from a people tall and smooth of skin, and from a people terrible from their beginning onward, a nation powerful and treading down, whose land the rivers divide, to the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, to Mount Zion. Now he's saying that in that day, there's going to be a present, a tribute, a gift that will be given to the Lord from the Cushites. This talking about the smooth skin, he's talking about like smooth shaven, which is something that was normally attributed to them and others. But as we've gone through all the different nations, and he's going to continue on talking about the destruction of these nations, some of it was in the very near future for them when Isaiah was proclaiming the word of the Lord. And some of it, like this passage today, is a time that's looking on into the distant future, because it's a time when, as he's already, if you read through here, he's saying, look, you need to be listening out for the judgment of the Lord. It's going to come unexpectedly. It's going to come before the harvest. It's going to come, in other words, prematurely is what you're going to think. You're going to think that God has struck too early, but his timing is always perfect. He's never early and he's never late. But as that time comes, and if after the Cushites have been really after they have been humbled, he said, there's coming a day they're going to bring a gift to the Lord. They're going to bring a present to the Lord. They're going to worship Jesus in his place. They're going to worship the Messiah in his kingdom on earth. He's saying there's coming a day. There again, he's coming a time when Christ reigns. He said everybody's going to be humbled. Now, you say, well, what does that have to do with us today, right? We don't. You may feel like, well, we don't have nations coming against us today, and let's be honest, we're not Israel, so our nation here, in the United States, if we go against Israel, if we go against God, then, and as our nation has already gone against God in so many ways, how do we know we wouldn't be described in that same destruction? And I know many of you look say, well, wait a minute, United States isn't listed in there. Maybe because it won't matter, it won't be important. A lot of the nations that he talks about are there, right there around Israel as well. Those who have been dealing with Israel from the onset and the birth of that nation. At the end of the day, we have to understand as a nation that God is going to humble us. See, but with all humbling, right? Even think about it in your life, the times where maybe you gotten a little prideful at moments, and it took somebody saying something, it took something kind of knocking you down and knocking that chip off your shoulder, if you will, to where you humbly came back to the Lord and got back in that right relationship. You realize that even our nation today can do that. Our nation there is still time to get back right with the Lord. See, the problem is that many of you, just as I say that, think, no, we're beyond time. It's never too late until it's too late. Why would we understand that God can and will humble us in one day instead of just saying, why don't we humble ourselves now? And why do I need to wait for God to humble me? Why shouldn't I humble myself now willingly? Because when we willingly humble ourselves, don't you believe that that experience would be a lot more enjoyable? Don't you believe that that would make it seem that much more as we're giving back to the Lord to say, look, it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what I think. God, all that matters is you. That could be the same in our day-to-day life. So that maybe we needed to wake up today and as we face today, say, God, it's not about me. It's all about you. Maybe we need to make sure we're not acting like these nations. So often we want to compare ourselves to Israel when instead maybe we need to be comparing ourselves to those other nations. The ones that were going against the will of God, the ones that were being a poor example. To be honest with you, so many times the church and our nation here is being more of a pitiful example of what it means to be in God-blessed America. And we'll say we were founded on biblical truths, and we were, but what happened to it? There's still time. But I'm telling you, for us to turn back to God, we need to first humble ourselves, repent of our sin, and call on the Lord. And He will hear us. But if our nation refuses, God will humble us one way or another. Something to think about today. God bless you. And I pray you have a great, great day.